Glenn Suter is with us, and he's got his happy face on because the CFL announced a 14-game regular season set to start August 5th, Grey Cup December 12th, and Suits, you pulled out 5 happy thoughts for us on this day.
Well, first of all, let's start right out the top. And the way I want to do this, I'll give you a second to reply, DT, right when we'll go one by one as we go through here real quickly. But I'll start with the quote from the commissioner. And the first one is that he just started his entire press conference with, "We will play in 2021." Now, I know that is not a guarantee. We all understand the environment we live in right now. But that was as strong as and as definitive as a statement as I've ever heard from the league office throughout the last year and a half. So that was the starting point.
Yeah, and that's fantastic because it's a commitment. It reinforces. There have been governors who have said stuff like this before. Scott Mitchell in Hamilton had said it. The gang in Montreal, Gary Stern in Montreal had said it. But the commissioner says we will play. All right, certainty. I'm getting some football after I had to go without it in 2020. Just hook it to my veins. I like that. I'm with you on that one.
There you go. So number 2, here's the quote. August 5th was supported. That's the kickoff date. Was supported by all, and I emphasize all of our teams, unquote. So basically, sorry for all those that have been reporting that there are some teams that aren't interested in playing, that there is one team in Toronto that has no interest in playing. And all of those reports were basically wrong. They were false because he more than once in this interview on CFL.ca, the commissioner said that all teams supported an August 5th kickoff, and all teams support trying to get on the field, even if they have to adjust that. He mentioned that 4 or 5 times.
More games is better, right? Like that's just common sense. If you're going to be paying guys, if you're going to be paying to move guys across the country, you're going to be paying to keep them healthy. More games is better. And to me, what shows that, hey, we're really committed to this. They moved the Grey Cup to 2 weeks away from Christmas time, which to me is a real danger time to try to get people to spend money. But that Hamilton was willing to do it, that people were willing to accept this as, oh, we might play a playoff game December 5th, only 3 weeks from Christmas. Very positive. I love the thought of that. They're very committed to getting us some football and getting themselves some revenue this year. I love it.
And all of the teams,
yeah,
all of the teams were supportive of August 5th start, a December 12th Grey Cup, and to get on the field with flexibility. And that was another one that the commissioner used. That was, we are ready to be flexible. I think the quote was, we also know that we are going to have to be willing to be flexible. Now, he mentioned playing possibly in the West early in the season in August, if they have to do that, and then getting back to the East as protocols are changed in the East. And that's just one of many options. So again, a positive point coming out of this interview and this announcement that not only are all the teams in to get back on the field, but all the teams are working in a very collaborative way to go through all the different possibilities that if you can't kick off on August 5th, we're still playing. So there was another big one.
Yeah, we brought that to Craig Reynolds, the Riders president and CEO, yesterday. I said, hey, would you be okay with starting with 4 consecutive home games? That's not ideal from a selling tickets perspective. I can't imagine. He's like, yep, whatever we need to do, it will be done. And there's an important point in that, Suits, in that if they do happen to start in the East or with East teams playing in the West, it acknowledges that wherever we are on August 5th, with COVID and with the 6 provincial jurisdictions, that's not necessarily where we're going to be on October 5th and October 20th, right? Because maybe we're BC, Rick Lallisher had talked about, 5,000, 5,500, 6,000 fans to start the season. That does not exclude the possibility of, by middle of October, we can have 10,000 fans or 50. Who knows? Like it's not impossible that the Grey Cup in Hamilton could be sold out. I don't know where COVID's going. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not great with my transmission other than I wear my mask. But we just have to acknowledge that where we are the first week is not where we're going to be in week 16.
Yeah, exactly. And that the possibility of a sold out Grey Cup in Hamilton is still very much on the table, and that's the hope. And as you mentioned, you can build momentum and maybe go from 5,000 to 10 to 15.
Yeah.
If it has to cap there for 5 or 6 games, that's fine. Whatever the protocols dictate. But if you go through, you can obviously, and I know a lot of people will poke holes in a lot of stuff that the commissioner said or didn't say yesterday. But if you pull out some of them, like this is a small thing, but I think it's important because we have been on the league office for not being more transparent and more out there communicating with the fans and with the stakeholders. And I noticed that at one point, Ambrosi said early in June, we'll have a pretty good signal that will be good to go for that August 5th start.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a little hint to all of us that, hopefully we hear from the league office before that and in regular sort of intervals. But if it is early June that we get the sort of, okay, it's thumbs up, here we go, we're kicking off on August 5th, because we'll know more about the COVID, vaccination rollout and all of it. So, I thought that was hidden in the announcement.
Yeah.
But there it is. For those that are always criticizing that he's never telling us when he's going to talk to us and all those things, and I've been one of them, this was a clear indication that at the beginning of June, we will either give it the thumbs up for August 5th, or maybe we have to be flexible at that minute, but that's when we'll let you know about that.
Yeah, I've talked about, I feel like it takes 8 weeks to kind of get everything together, right? You got to tell guys, yep, start coming. They have to find a place to live. They have to, find their second home here in Saskatchewan. They have to get all their stuff together. They have to get across the border.
Right.
In this case, they're going to have to quarantine for probably 7 days. Then they get to training camp. As it stands now, it looks like it's 3 weeks with no preseason games. That's what John Huffnagel was saying today out of Calgary. So that would match up with you need about 8 weeks to kind of get everything together. Plus, not to forget that even if there's only 7,000 people at Mosaic Stadium, there's still going to be a game production going on, right? They're going to want those people to be entertained and fed and 50-50'd and beered and all that stuff. There's a lot behind the scenes apart from just the players themselves. So many times in this, I just think about players and coaches, right? But to put on a CFL game is a titanic task. And those people need a chance to ramp up as well and bring in valuable dollars. So, yeah, that's good. And we'll be watching for that and beating down the commissioner's door as early June approaches.
Yeah, and I've saved the best, I guess, for last because I really believe that, the league office and the commissioner have taken some heavy criticism with how they've, communicated or lack thereof when it comes to the players, the fans. And in his press conference and in the interview on CFL.ca, you can pull quotes out where he mentions more than once how important it is for the players and to get the players back on the field and to get some money in the players' pockets. That's important. He also mentioned how crucial and hardworking the medical professionals, the team doctors, and those that they've tried to lean on when it comes to sort of people that worked with the NHL and the medical professionals there to get the protocols down and get them ready to present to government, that has been an ongoing process for a long, long time. And they have worked tirelessly to get those protocols done. So, you have to kind of read it a couple of times to find some of these little quotes in there, but they're there and very positive. He had the players in mind, and he wanted to say that we're in debt forever with our medical professionals.
And so much of what I took away from yesterday was a stark improvement over 2020. What was it, May 21st? They said we won't play till at least September. This time, boom, there's a date. Boom, we've talked to the players. Boom, I smacked the desk and my computer fell down and now Suits is staring at the sky. Very excited about how I'm just ruining the show here. But it's very clear that the things that Ambrosi and the CFL took a lot of flack for in 2020, they were very conscientious to improve on those for this announcement yesterday.
Yeah. And I've been critical at times. I hope this opens up the line of communication and we see sort of regular updated, press conferences from the league office, or at least press releases. I love that you bumped your computer. You got to leave that in with the whole YouTube thing too.
Super
Afterwards.
excited. Yeah. Super excited to have everybody know that I'm a moron. Oh,
No,
wait,
no,
never mind.
I do it all the time. You should see the setup I've got in my little football bunker in my office in my house. I've got my computer sort of stacked up on CFL fact books.
Yep.
So that it's at the right level, so that you're not looking right up my nose, which when you're watching so many Zooms, I always say that I'm yelling at the TV, hold your computer up higher, man. I don't want to look right up your nose. Anyway, I've been critical of the league. I hope they open their lines of communication more to all of us and the stakeholders. I mentioned at the end of our last show that, TSN, and I've talked to a couple of producers there that have said that there are sponsors looking forward to becoming part of the return to play. And that's great. There's a lot of great news. And I'm sure there's businesses there in Saskatchewan that are ready to go as soon as we can get those games back on the air and get the players back out on the field. And then we can focus on what we all want to focus on, which is wins and losses and how Cody Fajardo played.
Right? Can you imagine? We could have an actual conversation about football that actually happened and we watched it with our actual eyeballs. Suits, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And hey, let me add this, DT, is, and I've been sort of trying to think of it and how, because I get this question quite often, and it's from CFL fans that ask me, how can I help? What can I do to help get us back on the field as quickly as possible? And I think of it with this COVID situation and just make the comparison to being a great teammate. And if you're a great teammate, there are times when you have to play a different role than you're comfortable with. There are times that you have to sacrifice, your own accomplishments because you're asked to do something else on the team that won't put you in the spotlight. It's kind of the, get your nose dirty job, but you got to go and do it, and you got to sacrifice for your team. You've got to care about the guy beside you in the locker room. So the one advice, or the girl beside you in the locker room, the one advice that I could give to all football fans now, and football fans to talk to their friends, is get your vaccination. Whatever the medical people are telling you in your province, times it by 2 in trying to protect yourself and your family and those around you. Be good teammates to the citizens that are around you, to your neighbors, to the people in the grocery store. Be good teammates, and we will get back on the field. And that's how, as a football fan, you can really become the outstanding player. Get your vaccination when you're eligible and get it right away. Be a good teammate to all of the neighbors and people around you. And we're going to get out of this thing and get back on the field.
Amen to that. Amen to that. It is 5:45. On the other side of the break, let's have an actual football conversation about football that's actually going to happen, Suits. There are several things. There are things from each and every of the 9 CFL teams that I'm looking forward to seeing in 2021. I want to get some of yours as well. We'll pull some off the text line as well, but actual football moments we are looking to watch in 2021. You up for that?
Well, I love it. Let's start right in Saskatchewan.
That sounds pretty good. 5:45. More in fine tailored suits coming on the cage. Every week we give away an autographed Glenn Suter jersey at number 27, top of the line. And we do so with Death by Trivia. Sean Kleisinger, you let folks off the hook a little bit last week.
Just a bit.
A little bit softer. Where does this one, on the Scoville scale of 0 to burn your face off, where does this one go?
This is about middle of the road, burn your face off.
Okay.
We shall see.
Okay.
Today's question, first of all, 306-936-6262, 866-767-0620 is the numbers to call. Today's question, Glenn Suter holds the record for the most interceptions in Rider franchise history with 51. 13 more than this defensive back who sits in second place. So once again, 306-936-6262, 866-767-0620, DT.
Call now, win an autographed Glenn Suter jersey. Suits, do you remember when you broke the record, when you became the record holder? Was there any kind of announcement or celebration of I guess that would be number 39, whatever broke the record?
Yeah, that's good. It was I'd never counted all my stats or interceptions, but it was 39. And
love it.
No, I'm just kidding. I do remember it because you know why I remember it? I remember it because I don't even remember who we were playing, but I remember it because Dave Ridgway, who was a great friend and still is of mine, and I've, of course, held for him on field goals, he came all the way out to midfield to congratulate me. I think I was ready to throw the ball in the stands, and he reminded me not to, said, hang on to that. That's a big one. That's an important interception. You want to get that painted and put that in your trophy room. And so I remember that. Again, you remember that teammate moment when Ridgway is standing at center field with me, hugging me as I walk off and saying, hey, man, you just broke the franchise record. And that was pretty cool.
Tackling you. Don't do something you're going to regret. That's good teammates. That's good teammates. Teammates taking care of teammates there. I love it. CFL season, August 5th, Grey Cup, December 12th, and 14 games of action. Suits, give me something. Start with the Riders. Give me something you're looking forward to seeing in 2021 on the field.
Start with the Riders, start with quarterbacks because, obviously so important the position. And I am really excited to see Cody Fajardo take what he did, which was to arrive on the scene. He became a star quarterback in the league, a quarterback that ticked all the boxes except one, which is to get his team to the championship.
Yep.
And that's the next step for him. But to watch how he did it, to watch how he played, how he handled himself in good and bad situations, how he handled the media when he got off the field and was in the community, how he really engaged the entire community. I am really looking forward to his development and seeing if he can carry over what he did to get the team within a play or two from the championship game and see if he can carry that over after this break. I'm sure he can. He's got to be 100% healthy, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, that's the big one. I think that's the one that a lot of us will go to. I'm going to throw out there are a lot of changes to this defense. The back five is the same as it was before, but Sam linebacker, Will linebacker, defensive tackle, one of the defensive end spots. Charleston Hughes no longer on this team is a real change. I really want to see what Jason Shivers can do with this. No Cam Judge, no Solomon, no Charleston Hughes. What can he manufacture up? 2 seasons ago, Chris Jones ran a lot of three-man pressure and really was a big fan of that. Shivers really went to more of the four-mans and went to a little more blitzes in certain situations. What will he do when you don't have Charleston Hughes as the absolute disruptor on the edge? That's a secondary one for me of what I'm looking forward to in the Riders season.
Yeah. Great questions across the board there. And we'll see as that unfolds. I think when your strength then is your veterans in the secondary and they're still together again, that's when you can lean on that part of your defense and you can say, hey, we're going to put you in some difficult situations. We're going to put you in some man-to-man situations, some blitz, some press coverage situations. And when you're in those positions, we're putting a lot of pressure on you, but we're sending the house to see if the quarterback on the other side can handle it. So that would be a prediction this early, but lots of questions to be answered on that side of the ball for sure.
All right, pick another team and give me something you're looking forward to in the 2021 CFL season.
Well, I like Vernon Adams, and I want to see if he can do the same thing. It's sort of like the Cody Fajardo look, but I want to move to Hamilton, hosting the Grey Cup this year. And so who is it going to be? Jeremiah Masoli, who is one of the guys who have totally benefited from having this long year and a half long break, because now he can be 100% healthy. And 100% Jeremiah Masoli, if you go back and think of his first 7-8 games when he was healthy, that was pretty good. Now, Dane Evans comes in and he lights it up and gets the team to the championship game. So, could it be a 2-quarterback system in Hamilton? If not, who wins the job? I'm sure Masoli gets the first reps to start camp, but does he get them at the end of camp? I think that's going to be interesting to watch, because could it be Huffnagel Barnes, Austin Burgess, Strevler, Kalaros? I mean, could it be that kind of situation where you see two again?
God, who was the super veteran quarterback Warren Moon played behind back in the day?
Wilkie.
Sorry?
Tom Wilkinson.
Tom Wilkinson. Thank you. Warren Moon, Tom Wilkinson, Brandon Bridge, Kevin Glenn. Oh, wait, never mind. That one wasn't as good. I am curious if we end up with a 14-game season. I don't think it happens. If we end up with a shorter season, something like 9 games, I'm curious if Hamilton can go into the Grey Cup undefeated. I think Toronto has improved out in the East. I think Montreal is set to regress hard in the East. Hamilton, sure, they lose Delvin Breaux, but they brought in Ciante Evans. They've lost pieces, but that front four is back. Man, Brandon Banks and Braylon Addison are in the same offense for good. They'll be healthy at running back again. Don Jackson will be the lead dog there probably. Hamilton could be really, really good, and I'm curious to see if they could go into the Grey Cup unbeaten if it's a 10-game or less schedule.
Yeah, and the best sort of quarterback situation, because if you look at a quarterback situation, not necessarily the best guy. I mean, we could argue which is your favorite in the league, but the best situation in having two number ones that have bought into Orlando Steinauer's system, and he's the perfect coach to make a 2-quarterback system work, because he will give them those speeches about being great teammates and just sometimes your role changes, and just do your role the best you can and sacrifice your headline in the newspaper. Well, it's not newspapers anymore. It's tablets and all that. But, he's going to have those conversations with those 2 quarterbacks, and you can guarantee that they'll be great teammates with the entire group. So it'll be interesting. The other one for me, DT, is Andrew Harris. And, here's a 33. I know you're not a big fan of the tailback position at times, but at 33 years old and over 1,300 yards in back-to-back seasons, leading the league, over 400 yards combined in the last 2 seasons receiving out of the backfield. Can he do it again? Can he do it one more time? Because, I mean, it really is quite remarkable at this side of 30, the wrong side of 30 when you're an athlete. Yeah. For him to be accomplishing what he has over the last, and, Grey Cup outstanding Canadian, Grey Cup outstanding player. And can he take this break now at 33 years old and step in and get another 1,300?
Just going to pause for a moment so folks listening can make the joke about how Andrew Harris had success in his 30s. There we go. Yes. With those 2 tackles back, Stanley Bryant, Jamarcus Hardrick, Speller has gone to Toronto. I'm trying to do this from memory. Patty Neufeld, a good Saskatchewan guy, back in the interior. If that offensive line is back, that running game is going to be a weapon. Will it be a priority for Buck Pierce? Is something I'm willing to see, or do they want to go more into the passing game? They were the most effective running team on first down last year. They were the only team that was more effective running the ball than passing the ball, which Strevolution probably has to do with that. Very curious to see the changes that happen in Winnipeg, plus a full season of Zach Collaros, maybe just enough to get them to finish second to the Riders in the West. Final thoughts, Suits. We got about 30 seconds.
Yeah, just hey, let's enjoy for at least one weekend some real positive news that we've got a kickoff date at August 5th. We all know that we have to be flexible. We all know that it could change again, but let's take the weekend and enjoy the good news. Have yourself a cold one and say, hey, we're going to play some CFL football. And in the meantime, be a great teammate with your neighbors, protect yourself, protect them. And let's get the vaccinations and get back in these parks and get back in the booth and call some football.
Love it. Thanks, Suits.